all of us. I'll get this microphone right. There are explanations to be had. But for now, there were 2 games. And Nate, you don't look as good as you think you do. I promise you that. I promise you that as you brush your beard.
Wow, Nate. I would like, can I borrow that beard brush for what I've got going on up top? Kyle, take it away with the NFC East.
Let's get that deep dive is going to have to be on pay cable because there'd be a lot of profanity in it. Let's go, first of all, to Washington, Dallas, and Jerry World, where the teams observed the passing of Marcus Paul. He was the strength and conditioning coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Collapsed and passed away Wednesday evening at 54 years old. Alex Smith back on the field, down 3-0 early. Here you go, America. Antonio Gibson took over the world yesterday. It would have been really nice yesterday. We did a whole segment on surprising players who could have broken out. If one of us had said Antonio Gibson, we whiffed on that. Andy Dalton, down 7-3. How about a surprising player who's breaking out named Amari Cooper? He gone. His first touchdown in 6 weeks. We love you too, Andy Dalton. All right, so it's all coming up Dallas. But look at this. 4th and inches. They go for it in their own territory. We're going to go to CeeDee Lamb. It's broken up. A lot of contact. You wanted an interference penalty on Ronald Darby. They don't get it. There was also a penalty on Dalton Schultz, a personal foul in the same play. Mike McCarthy really angry. 10-10 now. What you got, Alex Smith? Oh, nothing. Just a Logan Thomas touchdown in the red zone. Yeah, and he throws it up to the upper rafters. Washington's got it going. Great rivalry here. It's a close game. Felt really competitive despite the records. But then this. Zeke looking for extra yards. It's a loose ball. It was not called a fumble, and they looked at it. You're damn right this is a fumble. Watch right here. That ball is out. That forearm is not down. Ezekiel Elliott, your league leader in lost fumbles among the running backs. Zeke, we got to have more than that, man. 20-13. Alex Smith on a 3rd and 10 is intercepted by Jalen Smith, who's going to run it back for a pick 6. No, he's not. Look at Terry McLaurin doing his DK Metcalf impression. He gets them. He runs them down, and Jalen Smith can really, really move. This was your answer to DK and Buddha, and it was a huge play. I think this changed the whole game because Jalen's going to run in for an easy touchdown. Instead, look what happens now. 3rd and goal, backed up outside the 10. Andy Dalton's looking for CD. And this is a straight-up drop. CeeDee Lamb can make the amazing catch. You got to make this one. This one hit him in the face. It was an absolute laser from Andy Dalton, who says, come on! They settled for a field goal, and that really changed the tide. It goes back to, but then this, 4th and 10. What? This is a double reverse on a punt? The Cowboys fake it on 4th and 10. That's Bones Fossil. Peter's going to have some fascinating insight to what went down there later in the segment. Stay tuned. Did I mention Antonio Gibson? He gone. He's straight up waving to the Cowboys secondary as he runs in and then picking his teeth. Antonio Gibson was John Riggins in this game, 27-16. Did I mention Antonio Gibson? This is not the same play. This is later. He runs in another one. Is he going to count how many touchdowns he has? Don't you dare do it. Yes, he did. 1, 2, and they got another one late on a Montez Sweat turnover. Washington rolls Dallas 41-16 on America's holiday. Unbelievable play by Washington. The Washington first place team. Let's hear from their quarterback in a great looking coat talking about how special it is for him, especially on Thanksgiving.
And amazing, to come down here. Obviously, you get the opportunity to play on Thanksgiving, special, and with this rivalry, even more special. So to come down and get a win like we did today, means a lot. Yeah. So, and as far as me, it's hard to put into words. I never would have dreamt in a million years something like this would be happening, and just thankful for it, and making the most of it every day.
Washington football team, now the Washington first place team. I said we got to take this team seriously if they win, and I thought that they might. The Cowboys now in the basement of the NFC East. Nate, what stood out to you in this big win on Turkey Day?
Okay, I'll jump in first. For me, it's the defense. The defense is what stood out to me. We've talked over the last few years on about what the Washington football team was building defensively, more in particular that defensive line. And it was the pressure. The pressure not only that they put on Andy Dalton, but also the pressure they put on Zeke. They held Zeke to 32 yards. And Kyle just talked about it. He lost a fumble. He leads the league in lost fumbles. But he couldn't get going because his defense was fantastic. Look at this. They rushed forward. Who is that? The most recent guy, Chase Young,
who I joke about it and say, oh, he was brought there to chase young QBs. Well, Andy Dalton isn't a young QB, but they were after him. It seems like even when they didn't get to him, he felt the pressure. And that right there is something that you can hang your hat on. The offense is starting to look good, but defensively, we're talking 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, and just countless amounts of times where Andy Dalton dropped back and you can tell he felt claustrophobic because the pocket was collapsing. For me, I loved watching that defense because it reminded me of what San Francisco was doing last year. Not this season, but last year when that D-line was just causing havoc game in and game out. This defense is young and their superstars are going to be around for a long time. I'm looking at their Washington football team and their defense is what excites me.
You're right, Nate. It's well put. There were shades of a 2019 Nick Bosa out there. It did look like the Niners a lot from last year. But on the other side of the ball, Washington was fun. And if you were sitting there in some sort of food or booze stupor yesterday in the middle of the day, you might have been watching this game and saying, did they just run a fumble-rooski at the professional level? You're damn right they did. Check it out. It's the fumble-rooski. It's a J.D. McKissick. You're going to see it better on the reverse angle. He's going to squat behind the guard. The whole offensive line is standing up straight to hide them. Smith goes underneath, hands it forward to him, and runs this way. And then McKissick waits and runs left. This is, you run this for 4th graders. In fact, you might be thinking, hold on. Was that the annexation of Puerto Rico that they just ran on national television against the Cowboys? And if so, there's no way that Ron Rivera really is referencing Little Giants or knows it and would have the gall to run it in a game, would he? Take it away, Coach.
It actually goes back to a movie called Little Giants, okay? And it's called, you know, I hope I don't get in trouble, but it's called The Annexation of Puerto Rico. We nicknamed it the Bummerooski so that because most of these guys don't understand it, so we had to explain to them who Bum Phillips is, and we did it in tribute to to him as term of the bummer.
They call it the Bumblerooski, an homage to Bum Phillips. And there's also an homage to Rick Moranis there. Washington, have a day. Ron, stay hot. The NFC East now has the Giants and the Little Giants. But, Peter, I'm sure also Dallas had some ingenuity and some creativity in their game plan, right?
Sure, Kyle, and I love that. And look, honestly, I'm not going to take anything away from Washington. An incredible effort yesterday. And when you get Alex Smith coming off the leg injury, Ron Rivera battling cancer, and you look at those standings the morning after Thanksgiving and they're in first place, you have to rally around that team and say it's a great story for football. What's not a great story is the Dallas Cowboys situation. And yesterday in the 4th quarter, they're down 4 points. They're stopping the Washington offense every single time they touch the ball. And they're deep in their own territory, and a play call comes in that might have just been the death knell for the entire season. A fake punt with the circumstances of not being able to stop. I mean, unbelievable decision here to do a fake punt. Next play, Antonio Gibson goes for a touchdown, and the game is over, basically. A 4th and 10 from their own 25 when the Washington offense cannot move the ball. In the 4th quarter, down 4 points, it reeked of desperation, it reeked of miscommunication, and it reeked of this. Let me explain what I'm doing here, Coach. That's special teams coach John Fossil, known as Bones. He's explaining, now look, I thought I saw it, and McCarthy's like, what are you doing? And after the game, McCarthy says, all right, that was his call, but I support that call. That's an aggressive play call to make when your defense is doing the job. And if you're looking at Fossil and saying, well, that's because Johnny Hekker had all those great fake punts in Los Angeles, and we knew back in the St. Louis days they had such great special teams. Go back last year, week 17, the Rams still alive, barely. Here was the play call by John Fossil, the special teams coach, on a 4th down in the 1st quarter. It's a fake punt, and of course you've got Hekker who can throw at any point, and the fake punt is snapped, and it's this, and it's short of the 1st down, and it led to a none-too-pleased exchange with Sean McVay, where he's screaming at him, what are you doing? What is that play call? And Hekker explaining, Fossil explaining himself. Fossil's no longer with the Rams. Let's just say that this might have had something to do with it, and other things, salary, whatever else you want to say. But the Cowboys are fighting for their season last year. And when you had that situation to call a fake punt there, if you're a Cowboys fan, you have every right to be wondering, hey, it's not the offense, not the defense. How about the coaches? What are we doing here?
It's awesome.
I once famously witnessed Bones at Manhattan Beach pulling someone out of the water and saving them. But yeah, great. I mean, great callback to that Rams game, too. Peter Schrager. Washington, though, I think the story is about them this morning and that defense Nate Burleson you're talking about. It is now, after yesterday's performance on Thanksgiving, a top 5 defense in the National Football League. I'm looking for consistency from someone in the NFC East to give me some hope to hop on board the bandwagon. I looked at the longest winning streak in the NFC East, just 2 games. So they've done it back-to-back. The Giants have done it. The Eagles have done it. Somebody step up and show me some consistency, because as good as that defense looks, I want to see who can do it week in, week out down the stretch. Okay, more highlights now. Nate, Texans. And